about finances, investing, estate and retirement planning? Well, I went to school, so you don't have to. Welcome to Finances and Social Security. Finances and, in conjunction with my company, Capital Coaching, helps people achieve their financial goals through personal, tailored, and attentive financial coaching services. We create successful financial plans by examining your spending and saving habits and then guiding and educating you to your own personal success. Coaching services include evaluation of your spending plan, building on your savings, financing your retirement, examining your insurance needs, and planning for your individual goals. Please contact me at capitalcoaching.net to make an appointment for a free consultation. Social Security is a guaranteed return on the money that you've been paying into since you started working. But how did all of this start, and how does it actually work? Between 1930 and 1935, there were pension funds called old age pension plans that states supported. There were about 30 states that had some form of this to provide funds to their elderly population. These frequently went unused as they were perceived as welfare and generally were poorly run. As people moved away from their agricultural jobs and into the cities, the dynamic of staying in a family home to be cared for by the younger generations shifted to individuals caring for themselves. By 1930, 56% of the U.S. population now lived in an urban setting. At the same time, better health care and sanitation meant people were living longer, causing the balance of families supporting their own to slip away. In 1933, the Townsend Plan was created, providing every citizen $200 a month at age 60 and above, funded by a 2% national sales tax. To qualify for this, you had to be retired, you had to be free from habitual criminality, and the money they gave you had to be spent by the recipient within 30 days of receipt. Then in 1935, President Roosevelt signed the Social Security Act, creating a social insurance program paying retired workers over the age 65 a continuing income after they retired. These payments went only to the primary worker at age 65 based on payroll tax contributions that were made while they were working. The idea was that workers paid for their own retirement by making regular payments to this fund, actually a trust fund that's held by the federal government. Then came the incredible task of assigning Social Security numbers to all employees so that they could earn their credits toward this fund. The lowest number ever issued went to Grace Dorothy Owen, and her number was 001-01001. And within a few years, over 30 million cards were issued. To be sure, they considered just using pensioners' names, but there were far too many common names for this to work. In a Social Security number, the first numbers were assigned with a 3-digit area code, then a 2-digit month of birth, and a 4-digit serial number. Before you start to say, my 2 digits aren't my month of birth, quickly that month of birth identifier was abandoned and a group number was to be used. The area numbers were assigned by geographic region and until 1972 represented the state the card was issued in. As a rule, the East has the lowest numbers and the West has the highest numbers. This has caused a problem since some states will not run out of numbers, while other high population states only have a few years left of numbers. No numbers with 800, 900, or 000 have been assigned, and no 666s will ever be. Now, there is a proposal to just abandon the geographic numbering scheme and use the available numbers that are still left. The center 2 numbers now represent the group number, not signed consecutively, but in groupings order. And finally, the serial number is assigned with each group from 001 to 9999, and they do not use 0000. The card itself is only meant as a record of the number assigned, helping employers keep track of the employee's earnings. Since 1987, though, to apply, a parent can request a number as part of their child's state birth registration. An in-person interview is required for any people over the age of 12 applying for Social Security numbers. In 2005, the Social Security Administration set limits on how many replacement cards you can get. Anyone who goes above 3 cards yearly or a total of 10 cards in their lifetime must provide proof of why they should be allowed the exception to this rule before they can receive another replacement. Social Security was created to provide a lifetime benefit to retirees, but your Social Security number is also used for buying government bonds, military identification, hospitals, U.S. Indian programs, federal benefits, transactions at banks over $10,000, blood donors, tax filers, food stamps, jury selection, and even workman's comp. But just requiring the use of your Social Security number has created the abuse of the card through identity theft. Colleges, the VA, and Medicare have all displayed the entire Social Security number in the past, and this is a recipe for losing your financial identity. So how does the money collected come back to you? From 1937 to 1940, people were provided a lump sum payout. But in 1940, a monthly stipend was provided by the money paid by the employer and employee into this trust fund. These funds are financial accounts that are held by the U.S. Treasury. One is the Old Age and Survivors Insurance, or OASI, and the other is for Disability Insurance, or DI. OASI pays out only retirement and survivor benefits, while the DI pays out only on disability funds. The money collected through payroll taxes pays for the funds and administrative costs. The Social Security Trust Fund holds money not needed in the current year to pay benefits and administrative costs, and by law, invests it in special treasury bonds that are guaranteed by the U.S. government. A market rate of interest is paid to the trust funds on the bonds they hold, and when those bonds reach maturity or are needed to pay benefits, the Treasury redeems them. Social Security benefits increase annually based on the cost of living allowances, or COLA. These offset the effects of inflation on fixed incomes. So as your benefit stays the same over years, the ability to buy goes down. So the Social Security and other pension funds provide automatic increases in the wages that you're paid or the benefits to keep up with the inflation rate. These are most often linked to the Consumer Price Index, or CPI. So for example, if a hamburger costs 80 cents and 20 years later it costs $1.20, the ability to buy a hamburger goes way down over time if your benefit was to stay the same. The big question now is, will Social Security be around when you retire? According to AARP, Social Security will deplete its benefits by the year 2034, which is only 13 years away. This means that it would have gone through all the money in reserve and can only pay out what it takes in a given year. To save this program, one of the following changes will probably have to take place. 1, you can increase our payroll taxes, because currently we're paying 6.2% tax on the first $137,700 that we make, and your employer pays that same 6.2% for a total of 12.4%. Self-employed people pay the whole 12.4% themselves, and raising that percentage taken out will increase the amount collected and then the amount that would be used for Social Security. The second option could be that they could increase the age of retirement. Currently, the 100% retirement age is 65 and going to be 67 very soon, with a 70% payout at age 62. The third option is that the first $137,700 is taxed for everyone, including millionaires. One option, though, is to raise that dollar amount to a larger one, meaning that those who make over that would pay more in taxes that are withheld. The fourth option is to decrease the taxes that are taken out on your Social Security income checks. Although this seems counterintuitive, the idea is that since people live off their after-tax income or their net income, and if fewer taxes are owed and the Social Security benefit could be reduced, then maybe people could live off a smaller amount. This would probably include increasing taxes on those retirement incomes outside of Social Security income, like IRAs, 401ks, or 403bs. So wealthier retirees would be taxed more than those who exclusively retire on their Social Security benefits. Social Security benefits are calculated at its most basic level by your lifetime income, taking your wages over your lifetime. Then they calculate it based on the 35 years you've earned the most money in. They apply this formula to come up with your basic benefit, also called a primary insurance amount. This is the amount you can receive at age 67 years old for those born after 1960. Prior to that, full retirement is still age 65. You can choose to take your Social Security benefit as early as 62, but you'll only get 70% of your full retirement benefit. That increases slowly until you reach age 67 at 100% benefit. If you delay your benefit, it will go up 8% per year and then stop accruing at age 70 for a total of 40% above your full benefit. Currently, the average Social Security benefit is $1,543 a month, with a maximum for anyone of $3,148 a month. Even Bill Gates is entitled to Social Security, and the maximum he'll receive a month is the $3,148. I found that AARP had a really simple calculator that was helpful to understanding how much you'd qualify for. However, you should also get onto the Social Security Administration website and take the time, and it does take a little bit of time, to see what benefits you should expect to receive at retirement. This is all the money that you've been putting aside, whether you liked it or not, and you should be expecting that money back. Thanks for listening to Finances and Social Security. I know you chose to listen, and I'm grateful. If you enjoyed this episode, please follow or subscribe for free in the podcast provider you're listening to right now. Share your favorite episodes with a friend as well. Finally, consider leaving a review because it brings financial education to others and it helps people find us more easily. Please let me know what questions you'd like answered or what topics you'd like me to cover by going to the website at financesand.net and leaving a message. You can also contact Capital Coaching for your personal financial needs at capitalcoaching.net. Finances and does not provide tax or legal advice, and nothing in this podcast is to be construed as such. Always consult a tax, accounting, or legal professional for advice on your specific situation. Remember, I went to school, so you don't have to.